Okay. And then I will make it go live here. Josh Law is joined by Brandon Fields, founder of Old Bones Therapy. We're going to cover what makes his company and him different. Brandon was immediately a standouts type guy from the moment we met. Join the stream and enjoy standouts and only co-production. Okay, cool. Takes a second, I think. So. I'm just going to make sure it goes live over here on Facebook.
Man, I had no idea we were going to be live today, Josh. I thought we were just recording this.
No, man, we're live. It's not like to a big audience, so don't worry. It's all
Man,
good.
I should have like invited all my friends and stuff.
They can check it out. It's all good. We'll do standouts round 2 here in 6 months or whatever. It'll be
there
good.
We go.
Anyway, I think we're all live, so it's great. So those of you that are tuning in, this is Standouts. It's our second episode here with Brandon Fields. I'm really excited to be chatting with him today. The whole concept of this is just, or was, that I'm meeting with cool and interesting people every week, and I thought it would be really great if we could just share this with all of you. And so tune in. We're just going to have a conversation about positioning, about differentiation, just about Old Bones Therapy. You're going to hear more about that, as well as ruling. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So anyway, with that, Brandon, I'm just going to ask kind of some questions. We're just going to go back and forth. Feel free to ask me any questions you'd like. And yeah, we'll go for 30 minutes, or if it's just vibing, then we'll go longer. And as soon as we kind of get towards probably the hour, we won't plan on going beyond an hour, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. So this is awesome. Thanks for joining.
Good, man. I have a feeling we're just going to be chatting like forever, because it's like we're old friends, man.
Exactly.
Do you remember when I stalked you on like LinkedIn? I'm all, hey, dude, I like what you're doing. And,
yeah. Absolutely. I loved that. That was a highlight. It's always cool to just bump into cool people on LinkedIn, because you kind of know it's coming from more of a business perspective.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so we're going to talk about, entrepreneurship or strategy, so it's good.
I've done that so many times, like as an entrepreneur and someone who's not like super business savvy. Like, I'm a software developer. That's my day job, and yeah, I started Old Bones Therapy, but like I've been learning as I go for the last, 5+ years. And I'm always just looking at what other entrepreneurs are doing. And like, if I see something that's cool, or like, whoa, those guys are killing it, like on Instagram or whatever, I'm just like, hey, I got to talk to that guy. Who's behind that company? Like, and one thing leads to another. Next thing, you're on LinkedIn trying to like follow the breadcrumbs to who's running what,
Mm-hmm. So. Totally, man. Well, let's hear more about that. And one point of I guess I want to make is, I'm in this little like phone booth thing because I happen to be in Portland today, and I don't think anyone's gonna pop in and through this door. But if someone does, just know that I'm just gonna try to kick them out as fast as I can. We'll get back to it. But anyway, Brandon, let's hear some of your background. Like, how did you get to where you are today? Both, from a career standpoint or even a personal standpoint. So much of your brand is about youthfulness, I think, and about just being active and having fun and continuing to rule, when it comes to whatever lifestyle you're kind of about. And obviously we see skateboards in the background, so I'm sure that's going to be part of the story. But go ahead and start from wherever you want, your kind of personal journey, and I'd love to kind of hear that. That'd be great.
Sure. My name is Brandon Fields. I live in the Bay Area, NorCal. I'm in a little town called San Carlos. It's about 30 minutes south of San Francisco. I grew up on the Central Coast, Los Osos, San Luis Obispo area. I'm basically a surfer / skateboarder. I got into software in college. I studied computer science. So basically I've been a software engineer for like the last 30+ years. And so this year I'm turning 50. Again, I'm a skateboarder. About 15 years ago, I got back into it after like quite a few years off. And it was just this really cool realization that, in your mid 30s, you can basically meet other people that were your age. And like, not only that, but they were kids and older people, like even in their 60s, that were still doing it. And just it became this community, you know. And about, let's see, like I said, I'm turning 50 this year. So about 5 years ago, I started noticing changes in my body. Like I'd go to the skate park, we'd be riding the bowl, and either like my knees or my lower back were starting to basically give me issues. So like I'd skate for 2-3 hours, I'd go home and I'd just have to be icing like nonstop. And turns out, like, I mean, I wasn't the only person having that problem. And I don't know, I just kind of like saw the writing on the wall, like meaning that this demographic of older people who are still trying to get out there and stay active and do the sports that they love was something that is just growing. I feel like it's a growing demographic. Like if you would have asked me 20 years ago, would I still be skateboarding, you know, past my 30s, I would have been like, hell no, like you're crazy, right? And I mean, you and I just chatted about this the other day, like the Tony Hawk documentary that just came out. I think that guy's 54, 55. And of course he just broke himself off with his femur breakage. But I mean, he's posting things of him scratching grinds 40 days later or whatever. I mean, that's pretty cool, you know? So anyhow, I had always kind of not dreamed, but been really interested in entrepreneurship and wanted to start my own like physical product business. And, you know, I started like listening to a lot of podcasts and like reading a lot of books, and everyone just kept saying, you know, solve a problem that you have. And you're like, if you solve a problem you have, there's probably more people out there that have that same problem. And so we started out making back braces, and I made this back brace that had a pouch built in to hold an ice pack, so that when I went home, I didn't have to like prop an ice pack on my back on the couch. I could basically strap that thing on and barbecue and cook dinner and, you know, keep moving. But
it's like being active like all the time. Like
right,
I'm out active, I'm tearing it up, and then I'm back at the house and I'm still wanting to stay active versus just like lay around.
I got stuff to do, man. I don't want to be sitting on the couch. But yeah, that's how it all started out, you know, and started out with back braces. Not very sexy, not exciting. We kind of started out like Amazon, doing Amazon stuff. Yeah, we always had a website, but only the last couple of years did I really kind of I was getting burnt out, and I wanted to like do something that was more focused on what I was into, which was like skateboarding and snowboarding. And I just picked up like dirt biking a few years back. So it's like, okay, now I got a motorcycle. I'm like, whoo, this is freaking fun. Like I'm doing all this different stuff. And that's what I wanted to focus on. And I kind of pivoted in a way and started focusing more on that target demographic of extreme sports. And ever since then, I really haven't looked back at all. And our company's just kind of continued to grow. So
what are you most excited about from a product standpoint that you've maybe just recently kind of cracked, or if you can share anyway, you know, what excites you about some of the products that you've developed here lately?
Oh man, so it's really interesting how things go from a back brace to like currently our most popular product is what it's like a knitted compression sleeve for your knees. And you know, we probably had that compression sleeve for like a full year that we were selling them, and they just weren't. I had like 1,000 in the warehouse, and like they just weren't moving. And it's interesting sometimes how long it takes for something to kind of take off, you know? And I just kept giving them to people, like my skateboarder friends, like East Coast, Midwest, whatever. I would just flow them stuff. And I'm just like, dude, you got to try these things out. Wear them underneath your skate pads. Like they're knitted, they're breathable, they're full on compression. And we put a little gel thing in there, so you get even a little bit of protection past your pads if you slam really hard. And it was just immediate. Like all the vert riders riding the vert ramps and the bowls were like, yeah, these things are amazing. And it just kind of organically, slowly kind of took off from there. And I just get excited because we've been iterating on our product. And so like now we have a level 2 version that has like springs and extra like guards built in. And then we have like a level 3 hinged version that has like removable hinges. It's more like a a beefy like Don Joy McDavid type brace, but built on top of our knitted compression sleeve. So those right now are just like our most popular product. And it's just interesting for me to see how it went from like something I just couldn't move at all to like now it's like our number one product, you know? So
Yeah, it's awesome when that happens. There's a lot of reasons I think those things will happen, but I think maybe I shared this with you on our last conversation, but maybe not. It was Go Fast. We had a red with like a Coca-Cola script on it, you know,
yeah.
and we just about got rid of it because we were like, oh, this isn't doing well, whatever. And then something popped off, and pretty soon, some of it was some advertising we just targeted the right way, and then some of it was just like getting worn by, you know, the right person or whatever. And pretty soon we were ordering them by like 10 times more than we'd ever like had, and you just couldn't keep them up. It's like it's so cool when stuff like that happens.
Yeah, and unexpected, and I think that's what makes it cool because you're just like, whoa, what just happened? You know, we just did kind of the same thing with compression socks. I know medical grade compression socks. Isn't that sexy? Right. Well, we're like, well, all these ones on the market are really ugly and lame looking. Like, let's make some knee-high compression socks that are great for like circulation and athletes and exercising. But let's make them look cool. Like, let's put some skater stripes on them and like the classic stripes. And like, we just did a small run of them, just thinking, oh, let's just test the water. I think we ordered like 1,000 units, and it was just like poof, like gone. And I was like, whoa. Like, that's interesting. I think we need to order like 10 times as many. So like right now we've been out of stock for like 2 months, and I'm dying, like our supplier. I'm just like, come on, can you guys hurry up? So,
And do you think most of the customers with those products are sort of guys like you, or are they are people buying them that just wear compression socks and are tired of looking like they came from a hospital? Or what do you think the drive is? Do you have a sense?
yeah, you know, it's interesting. So like if you look at like our social media or like even our website or our product listings, you know, we try to kind of have that edgy, like we have like skaters or BMX people like wearing our stuff. So it's like when you go into Walgreens or CVS and you're looking at the medical products, like there's nothing on that wall that speaks to me as a skater, whatever. Like I want skulls and crossbones and, you know, whatever. It's just nothing speaks to me. So I don't know what it is, but like what I do know is that like the demographic, what I think we're focused on, like skateboarders and BMX, like we just keep getting more and more people like adopting us. I'm like, I don't know if they see it and they're like, okay, that's cool. Like at least it's not like lame looking, but like we have roller skaters that are totally into us now. We have like the BMX bike life guys, like the wheelie guys are have adopted us, and I'm just like, whoa, this is really cool. Like came out of nowhere. Another demographic I never saw coming in a million years, like aging rock stars. Like we hook up several guys that are in bands, and like we hooked a care package up to this one guy, and turns out his uncle gets on and comments, oh, I need to get some old bones. And the guy's like, oh, you got to hook my uncle up. I'm like, who's your uncle? I look him up. He's a guitarist for Slayer. I'm like, yeah, I think we'll send that guy a care package. So like, you know, he'll be wearing our ruling shirt. But I mean, those dudes have been jumping off stages for how long? And yeah, so you just never know where it's going to go.
They're definitely a keep ruling type demo. Like
Yeah.
just keep going, like never
Keep
stop.
going, man, keep ruling. And you know that whole motto started out in the beginning as like I think our tagline was keeping you active and ruling at life. You know, that's a mouthful, right? And then like over the years it just went from that to keep ruling. And we still use that a lot, but then it just got shortened to just, hey dude, we're ruling. So you know,
yeah, it doesn't matter the age, just ruling, just like that's what we're about.
Yep.
So I think you've kind of covered bits and pieces of this, but maybe just in a like, I don't know, in as simple as a way as you could think about it, what makes you different than what else is out there? And again, you've kind of touched on parts and pieces, but like your product itself is not necessarily new, you know, right. like the sector, the category, whatever the vertical you want, you know, it's been around. what makes you what makes you different? Like what makes you stand out?
Great observation. And I always tell people, look, like I'm not some mad genius, right? Like I look around me and I see people like wearing products or other things. And what I do is I take existing designs and I just slightly tweak them so that they work for me. I'll give you an example. The knitted compression sleeves. I got that idea from the runners that I saw wearing them. And I saw somebody wearing it. I'm like, hey, what is that thing? And I check it out. I'm like, whoa, like super stretchy compression, like breathable. We were all wearing these like neoprene knee gaskets, they're called, in the skate thing under our pads. Those things are super hot, super sweaty. They get super stretched out after about a month of wearing them. And they just were lame. And I started trying out, like I ended up just hopping on Amazon, ordering like 10 different types of these knitted knee sleeves. I'm handing them out to my friends at the bowl. Hey dude, try these on, try these on. Let me know what you think there, and just getting positive feedback. And so I'll take those designs and I'll basically add little pads where I feel like they help my performance. For instance, we have a compression ankle sleeve, right? Well, my skateboard whacks me in the ankle. We call it shark bite. And when that happens, it's like your board is hitting your bone. And it just, once that happens for like 3 months afterwards, if you just barely touch it, it's like excruciating pain. So I put these little gel strips on the sides to protect when my board hits me. And so it's an ankle brace sleeve with ankle protection.
Yeah,
And
it's like
that's
just ultra, it's like ultra practical. Just like,
it's
hey, this
just
hurts.
practical stuff, you know, like how can I do a small tweak so that this product works for me? I did the same thing with the back brace. I'm like, I just want a little pouch with a big ass ice pack that covers my entire lower back. Like that's what I did. And then I'm like, well, I don't just want one ice pack. I want two, so that like when the ice pack gets warm, I just swap it out with the one that's in the freezer, and like I can just keep icing. And yeah, so that's just
It's like what's it called in software, called hot bunking or something? Like
like
when you
hot
have,
swapping, like a
yeah, when
hot
you have
kitchen.
teams located other places, it just like when you log out, someone else like logs in and starts coding on top of it or whatever.
Yeah,
Like isn't that called hot bunking or something? Or did I just make that up?
I I'm not familiar with that term. I gotta be.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
It's
I'll
okay.
get it.
I make up terms all the time too.
Yeah, it's perfect. That's cool. So yeah, when it comes to your customer, like what is different about your customer, that I guess, like what is the thing that kind of brings them together? Like what is the common thread? Whether it's because you got like old school rockers, you have skateboarders, you have like a multitude of different people. Like what is the common thread you think that ties them together?
Yeah, like it's interesting. Each of our little demographics like has their own, I guess you'd call it a subculture, right? Like skateboarders are very they have their own kind of subculture. And even within skateboarding, there's subcultures within subcultures, right? And same thing with like BMX, you know, like you've got the bike life guys that are like going out on ride outs and wheelies, and you've got like more of the BMX guys that are riding their bikes on, you know, parks or vert ramps or things like that. Like there's just a different thing. But for me, I think when I was younger, like things were very like I think you cared more about like what everybody thought about you. And I think as you age and get a little bit older, you don't really care as much about the little details. Like all that matters to me is like the dude's got a big old shit-eating grin on his face when he's at the park having a good time. I don't care. Like if you can't skate, but you're like just completely stoked to be there and just having a good time, those are the people I want to hang out with and be around. And I think that like our brand, like Old Bones Therapy, it like kind of speaks to people because like I'm a normal person. Like I wasn't a pro skateboarder. I'm still holding down a day job, you know, like I have my goals that hopefully I can do this full time at some point in the future. But, you know, I just try to be approachable. I try to be like I'm like a real person. And I think that people just see that and it resonates with them for whatever reason. And we try to help people, you know, like with those aches and pains. And that's another thing, like you asked me earlier, what excites me. And I think that I'm in this really cool niche where we could go in any number of directions, right? Because our product line just keeps expanding. And, you know, right now we're working on like some padded compression shorts to wear underneath your shorts and stuff. So hip padding, butt padding, whatever. But like, you know, necessity kind of things. But like, you know, we got into pain creams. We got into, we make a custom joint care supplement that has like all my favorite ingredients in it, you know, and like you could just go so many different ways with it. And that's kind of what excites me about it, is I feel like it's kind of limitless, the number of products and ways that we can help people kind of stay active. So
yeah, well, and it's cool too to make a product that can kind of go under what people would normally wear. And it really, like from a padding standpoint, like if you take a hit, you know, that was the reason I always, like as a young person, like wearing a helmet when I go skiing or snowboarding or whatever. There's a lot of friends wouldn't, you know, it's like, oh, it's snow, you know, obviously there's some things that could take you out. But for me, it was always about, if I went down, I didn't want to have to go out. Like I didn't want to have to sit in the lodge because I bumped my head a little bit, you know, or whatever. And so the fact that like it ties really closely to ruling, and or maybe the precursor to ruling, but keep ruling. Like when you hit your hip, like if there's a little bit of pad there, like you can keep going, you know.
yeah, and yeah,
it's cool.
a lot of people ask like are these made for protection? Are these padding, like, you know, knee slide or whatever? And it's kind of like it's almost a loaded question, because it's like, I'm not really out to try to make pads, like protective padding. Like they have companies that make protective pads. They do a great job. But like what I am trying to make are like, what are a lot of our products are FDA regulated. They're considered medical devices. Even the compression knee brace sleeves, those are considered medical devices. I have to be registered with the FDA. Our manufacturers have to be registered as a manufacturer with the FDA. Like everything has to be, you know, approved and regulated. And so I think another like thing that people like about it is like, we're making things that aren't really cool, like medical devices kind of look cool and be cool. So
And
that's another thing about it.
Yeah, and kind of have some custom you know, product development that fits to the niche that you serve as well. You know,
Exactly.
it's like there's I don't know, maybe there are more than I think, but I couldn't imagine there's many you know, sports out there that you have to worry about the tiny little part of your ankle that will get, you know,
Right.
bit by your board. Like
let me give you another example, Josh. So this is a shout out to my friends Isaac and Craig over at Big Bike BMX, right? They're super into bike life. Talking with them around Christmas this last year, and they were telling me about this super old product from like 20-25 years ago. It's basically like a shin guard, but for BMX guys. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. We make knitted compression sleeves for knees, for ankles, for wrists, for elbows. Like, why don't I make like a lower leg calf compression sleeve, and we'll just build in some padding over your shin. So like when your foot slips off and your pedals just go to rake you, like you're protected. So like I basically said, you got it. We're gonna prototype. We're gonna make that. And so we're getting our first shipment of those in this week. And that's a product that like skateboarders don't necessarily need that product, but the bike life BMX dudes, like they asked for it, and they're just happen to be my buddies. So I'm like, sure, let's try it. Let's go for it. So, you know, ordered 1,500 units, and we're gonna see how it does. You know,
that is sick. That is so sick. So when you were mentioning like there's like knee pad companies, like safety equipment and things like that that's out there that's done really well. I think that's a really good thing to maybe come back to, because too many people that end up not standing out sort of try to do everything, or try to go and compete in a category that's like kind of blown out, you know, like it's taken care of. There's not really a problem to solve. And sometimes I articulate it as like, it's bad when you make a solution that's looking for a problem versus a solution that solves a problem.
Yeah.
And so when you look at like the landscape, what are some things that you have intentionally or even just in this moment are thinking like things and I won't hold you to this, no one will, but what are some things like you just don't see yourself getting into and why? Like what are some things out there, some products that you're like, it just doesn't make sense to, and again, I won't hold you to it because you can change your mind and that's all good, but I'd be
No,
interested to know
so
where your boundaries are, because I think that's an important part of defining a category and being a solution is saying what I want.
it's a good question. And so, I've tried to stay away from things like helmets or things like protective padding, and it's not because I can't. Like, I actually could get into those things, but like I feel like in a way that's not my niche, like that's it is cool, but I don't have time for that really. And so, okay, the padded compression shorts. Like, I did not want to do padded compression shorts. I'm going to be completely straightforward and honest on that. But after so many years of so many people asking me to make padded compression shorts, like I'm finally just kind of like, dude, like the 100th dude that just asked me for padded compression shorts. Like my close friend of mine, Scotty Foss, he's like one of the original Bones Brigade guys. Like we skate with him every Saturday. He's 57 years old. He like first one in the bowl, last one out of the bowl. He's got the most energy, the most like just stoke for everybody, firing him up. He's like, dude, when are you going to make padded compression shorts? And I'm just like, are you serious? Like, he's like, yeah, I need these things. I just slammed on my hip last weekend, like, look at this freaking hipper I got. And I'm just like, all right. So like, he was like the 100th person that just put me over the edge. And I'm like, well, let's start prototyping, So what do? I get on, I buy like the top 3 off of Amazon, the cheapies. Then I go look at what all the motocross dirt bike guys are wearing. Those things are like $150 a pop. I order a couple of those. I do my product research, I wear all the stuff. I try it out, and then we found a supplier, and I'm like, okay, now we're kind of doing the back and forth on the prototyping. They just sent me a prototype. It was a little too long in length, and it had like some pads down at the bottom of your thigh area that I'm like, we don't really need padding right there. Like that's not where you slam. You slam on your hip or like your tailbone, and so I don't know. It just like, I never saw myself doing that, to be honest with you.
That's cool.
If you want another example,
totally
on that same line, I've had so many people tell me to get into CBD. And so like, I've been really hesitant, like over the last 4 or 5 years, to be honest. But like this last year, I've really started trying to educate myself a little more and like thinking about more seriously actually getting into it, So again, have some friends, have some suppliers like lined up with some pretty high quality stuff. So, but like I try to be the guinea pig, and I'll get stuff too. And my friends become the guinea pigs. And so we try stuff out and we iterate. And if it works, we'll go for it, So
totally, yeah. Well, and the amount of companies that are out there that people don't realize, I can't remember off the top of my head now, but it was like some of these major companies we all use and you hear about all the time started as something completely different. And then you just morph. It's like the market demands certain things. You get more experience in something. You keep hearing about a problem that you're like, okay, I keep hearing about it. Like we should be the ones to solve it. I guess it wasn't like my ambition, but now let's try it. Let's see if it actually works.
That's exactly right. Like it's just surprising the directions that your business will take you, and you have to be like, never say never, and you have to just be open to it, and that's, I don't know, that's just, I'm open to try new things, but at the same time, we talked about the little subcultures of the people who follow us and our demographic and stuff. They can be a little finicky too, right? And yeah, this is like one of my favorite sayings, but like, trust is gained in drips, but lost in buckets, right? So like what takes you 5 years to gain trust, you could just do one stupid thing and now everyone hates you and, doesn't trust you anymore. So it's,
say that one more time. We need to hear that one more time. That's like everyone take note. This is good.
This is not my quote, by the way. I got
That's
this
all right.
All right.
All right. It's the same way you develop products. You're just like, you grab a little bit here.
I grab a little here, a little there, things that resonate with me. But yeah, trust is gained in drips, but lost in buckets. So yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
It was Kevin Plank, Under Armour, who said that.
That's perfect. That's awesome, man.
Trivia for you guys.
Perfect.
I used to work for MyFitnessPal and Under Armour many moons ago. So
yeah, I think I saw that on your LinkedIn. Actually, I was on there just a bit before we got on. Yeah, so I want to circle back because maybe there's more to till up here, but maybe not. As far as this common thread, it seems like good energy, like stoke, and just positivity and like encouragement, and like just keep going. Like let's like, I guess in Tony Hawk's documentary, like until the wheels fall off, like we're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Like that's what kind of resonates with me. But like I just, for me, like the stoke comes from being outside, doing what you love to do. And it's not that you're old. It's not, I have a 10-year-old ripper on one side of me that's dropping in, killing the bull. He's killing everybody. He's 10 years old. You got a dude on your right who's 57, 60, whatever years old. Maybe he's slowed down a little bit. It doesn't matter, man. They got these smiles on their faces because they're hanging out at the pool on a Saturday with their friends and they're having a good time. And it's just like this timeless thing, and
in a way, your products are allowing people to go longer, to keep progression alive at some level. And then also by people doing this activity, whatever activity it is. And I'm sure in 5 years, you're going to find out that your products are loved in other verticals, but I love the concept of elongating that, or stepping into other generations to create a larger kind of gap between the oldest and the youngest in such a way that you can actually create connections. I don't know if we've talked about this at all, but I was part of reopening a ski area in our home mountain range, and a big passion of mine related to it. And I hadn't thought about it for skating because the concrete's kind of a lot harder than snow. But
I've slammed on my ass pretty hard on a snowboard, man. I
totally
differ, but it probably wasn't nice powder, California things get a little icy out here.
Exactly. Yeah. So I totally agree. But something I noticed in skiing that is just really cool is you can have legitimately an 82-year-old that is skiing and a 2.5-year-old, and you can do it, or pretty much like all day together. Yeah. And so when I look at Old Bones and I think about everything we've kind of talked about, there is something that's really exciting about elongating the activity, the time, the ability to connect with a younger person through the same activity and be inspired by each other, because there's not a lot of activities where the generations with gaps. I mean, you're talking about a couple generations between your friend and your 10-year-old, like. And so the fact that they can both do this activity outside and stay active and be healthy and encourage each other, like that's a big deal. Like that's a cool thing for a brand to do.
Yeah. And I don't want to say that my brand is the thing that brings people together, because it's not really true, but I think these little subcultures of communities bring people together. And I will say, like, even at our local skate park, we've got all kinds of people. We got the roller skaters in there riding with us. Like every once in a while you get a BMX dude in there, like the skateboarders. Like we're pretty accepting of everybody, and the age thing is what's blown me away to see how many young people kind of use our stuff and like us, because I didn't really see that one coming. But like we have several team riders that, are in their 20s, but they like our gear, because it helps and it works regardless. But like, we're not out to like heal people or like solve everything. I mean, you still got to put the work in. You got to have core strength. You got to exercise. It's it's not a cure-all, you know, but I will say compression's kind of awesome. Like I never knew that it had so many benefits, you know, like even if you're just achy and you put a compression sleeve on, like it just having like your knee or whatever wrapped, like
Yeah.
it makes it feel better. They
So
call
let's
it proprioception, basically.
Okay, we got to get into that like pretty much right away. I just want to say one thing to close this little chapter we just had,
Yeah.
which is kind of this something I think that probably kind of just through brand drew us together, because this concept of accepting of other people and like having an exclusive and an inclusive mindset. I talk about a little bit like with Go Fast, we're an exclusively inclusive brand, meaning like we want everyone to be a part of whatever it is we're doing. And that's where the phrase like ride whatever came in, because it wasn't about what kind of bike you're on, whether it was dirt or street or sport or, you know, track or whatever you're on, you know, or mini bike or scooter, you know. That's part of the reason. I don't know if you saw lately, we went down to the Biltwell 100, and Brett, one of our co-founders, rode a Vespa in the desert race, you know. And it was, I guess I wasn't down there unfortunately, but it was like the highlight, where it's like we just aren't taking ourselves too seriously. We're just here to have a good time, you know.
You can't take yourself too seriously. I mean, dude, just have a good time, man. Like I don't if you can't take yourself too seriously, man. Like just have a good time. Like I mentioned, when I was younger, I maybe took myself too seriously, right? Or maybe I'd go somewhere and I'd see like some pros over there and I'd be like, oh my God, I can't go over and say hi, or like I'll just look like a dork, you know? And dude, I'm in my 40s, like I said, almost 50 now. And I see somebody and I'm just like, whoa, dude, Tommy Guerrero, I got to go up and get my autograph or get my photo taken. And I don't even care. I'm just like, I'm the biggest nerd. Like, hey, Tommy, I love you, man. I grew up on you. Like, I have this company. Here's a hat, you know, a couple stickers. Can I get my photo taken with you? Yeah, dude, totally. Like, super cool. I've met so many people that way. You just can't take yourself seriously.
Okay, so let's talk about that, and then we're gonna get into the compression side. Do you still got some time? Are you okay? Can we keep going?
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
Okay, cool. So related to that little part of your DNA or learned or whatever, you know, that allows you to put yourself out there, like how do you think that's tied into the entrepreneurial journey? Like this concept of being willing to stand out. You know, in the last episode, we talked a little bit about this, and I think it ties really well into your ethos too. Is like part of being an adolescent is this concept of like fitting in or you know, blending in or whatever. Like you don't really want to stand out because there's some fear there. And then it's interesting that sort of pressure from yourself or from wherever it comes from as a young person actually is kind of the
it's the thing that holds you back almost when you're younger.
Yeah. Well, and I think it can continue to hold people back even when they get older. Maybe not so much in certain ways, it probably goes away, but like the key to a lot of entrepreneurial success is being able to stand out or to be different, you know, because if you look like every other product, you sound like every other product, you are every other product, what makes customers or the community or whatever choose you over something else? And standing out is so critical. So maybe that like, I don't know, maybe any of that might resonate with you, but I'd love to get your perspective on kind of that ride going from a place of like having some fear to being like, whatever, like life's too short, we're just going to do this. Like it's, you know, if this goes poorly, whatever, like it's more of a reflection on the other person than me. Like that's okay. Just keep
there's not like a particular moment in time where like some light bulb switches. Like I mean, I will tell you, I was even nervous this morning waking up. I'm like, oh my God, I'm telling my wife, I'm doing this podcast with Josh later this afternoon. I'm like, I'm going to be on camera. I'm like, I got this stupid light that's like probably, you know, whatever in my glasses. I'm just like nervous, you know, and you just got to put yourself out there, even if you're scared, you know? And it's like, if you don't, that's another quote, right? It's like, if you, what is it? The Wayne Gretzky quote where like, if you don't take the shot, like you're never going to make a goal. I don't remember the quote, whatever. I'm an idiot, but that's the case. You have to go for it. Right. Or fucking lose. I don't know. Like, just I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm not the, like, you know, entrepreneur of the year, but like I learn as I go. And the whole thing with people is full on like true. Like if you don't put yourself out there and like I said, Tommy Guerrero was one of the Bones Brigade dude. I'm just like, hey, that's Tommy over there. He doesn't know who the hell I am, shit from Shinola, but I'm gonna go over there and introduce myself. Like, sure, I'm nervous. It's like, you know, you got to do it though. You got to do it. And even I have two teenagers. Well, gosh, they're going off to college this next summer, but like 18, almost 20. And my oldest son, he likes to skate. And I'm like always trying to get him, come out and just ride the bull with us. Like everybody knows you. Like, dude, you've grown up around these people, but he's shy. He doesn't want to, you know, and it's like, I get it. I was his age at one point, but you kind of, I try to get him to break out of that shell so that he can really just experience things and not just go sit on the sideline.
Yeah.
Grab life and go for it. And dude, I'm not getting any younger, you know, and
yeah,
there's things I want to do.
That's a big part that's kind of built into just the human experience. It's like you're not getting any younger. And the more you're aware of that, you know, hopefully that can kind of deplete the fear tank, if you will. I don't know if that's a thing, but just like get rid of that. Like, I mean, fear is an okay thing, you know, but at the same time, like, not letting it control you, you know, is important. Like you got to control the fear. And I think too many times we kind of get stuck in the other way, especially as a young person, you know.
And even if you don't control the fear, like just face it, you know, and just see what happens, man. That's like all I'd say is just sometimes you just got to go for it. And you never know where you'll end up. I mean, it's completely humbling to me that we have like this cult following of people that love our stuff and love what we like our brand means to them. And that's just humbling to me, you know? So I never thought it would get to where it is today. So.
Yeah. I think that's similar for most entrepreneurs. It's like, how'd this happen? Like, you know, you just keep going and pretty soon like progress is real. And, you know, so many people think it's going to happen overnight and it just doesn't. You just got to keep doing it.
I'm going on 6 years now. And we literally just grew out of our house. Like I've been doing Old Bones out of our garage and house. And I started renting a storage unit for inventory storage. Then I rented a second storage unit just down at the local place. But then I got tired of transporting goods back and forth because I did all the shipping out of our house. And finally, I was just like, okay, I got to get a little warehouse space, you know, and we did that in January. And it's been great, you know.
Yeah, it's super cool. That's fun. Well, let's go back to kind of the medical, like there's some obvious benefits to just compression that I think I'm not fully aware of, other than the fact that I've had surgeries and I know that compression is important for circulation. I don't think about it outside of that a whole lot. So let's cover some of that, and then we can kind of start heading towards wrapping up. And you know, we can do some shout outs towards, you know, telling people to check stuff out or whatever. That'd be cool. But it's yeah, let's hear about some of the kind of the medical side.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, like compression socks, compression sleeves, anything like compression wise is increasing the circulation. It's getting the blood to flow. It's the proprioception, which is like, oh wow, my knee or my ankle feels secure now because there's this tight thing kind of like securing it. It's not necessarily like, I don't know what it is. It's magic. Did the ache or the pain just go away, or did that compression actually just work? Like, I first noticed it when we did the back braces in the beginning, because I have like a pinched nerve, you know, in my lower back. But I'd put that back brace on, I'd strap it on really tight, and all of a sudden it was just like, whoa, like the pinched nerve is not bugging me anymore, you know? And there's just something about it that's great, you know? So like I said, I'm not a doctor, but you know, for my own research and for my own use, those are the benefits, and it does. I think it works. So,
yeah, absolutely, that's cool. Well, sweet. Well, yeah. Anything else you want to share about upcoming products or things you're doing or things that you think people should know about? Like, I love what you're up to. I love your energy. Like, I think I told you on the phone, I think we just chatted the first time and I was like, Brandon, you have like the youngest voice ever. Like, because I didn't know like how old you were. I didn't have like any, and we talked for a few, like probably 20, 30 minutes. And then I'm like, what? You're like almost 50. I'm like, you sound like you're 20, like in the best of ways,
Well,
it's just cool.
Yeah, I mean, I literally am just an 18-year-old kid trapped in this old man's body, basically. And, like, I want to just go. And my mind thinks I can still launch off whatever and do whatever I did when I was 18. But like, hey, what's up? This is actually good time to end the call because I got a pickup here. Hold up, I'll open the door for you. Our daily pickup just showed up. Yeah, it's I just lost my complete train of thought there.
All good, man. Young
old man,
old
man, or young man's mind, but an old man body. It's just, I want to keep going as long as I can. So
that's awesome. Well, hey, let me wrap it up here, and then I'll just shut the stream off. We can keep chatting once you get your deal. But thanks again for joining and just hopping in. It's super cool what you're doing. And I've seen the brand in Sheridan. My HVAC guy was wearing it one day after we were chatting. I was like, "Where'd you get that?" Like, it was the coolest thing. So anyway, keep doing what you're doing, man. It's super, super cool. And
you guys too as well. Thank you. I appreciate it. And like I said, big fan of yours and your Only Co and the Go Fast Don't Die. Like, think it's super cool. Like I said, like reached out to you. You're like inviting me out to like Wyoming. Yeah, come hang out at the office. Like, meet everybody. I'm just like, whoa, I just met this guy. He's like inviting me out to Wyoming. I'm like, this is cool. So yeah, I love it. So
100%.
I appreciate you having me on, and yeah, keep ruling, go fast, don't die.
That's right. That's it.
Two mottos that kind of go together, right?
Perfect. Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go let this guy in. Yeah, cool. Thank you. It's our daily pickup. So orders got to go out, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, that was awesome. Really stoked.
Yeah, no, that was fun, man. I wanted to like ask you more questions about what you guys are up to.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to talk about me.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I love it. This is just fun, it's like as you start thinking about what makes you different and what makes you unique, and when other people can see that, it's like you can take something as simple as, I don't know how long compression has been around, but it's like you can iterate, you can try new things, and you can make it mean something to people in a new way. So it's super sweet, man. So
yeah, we've been trying out some new products that they're like gel 360 sleeves, but they're made out of gel, so you can throw them in the freezer, and when you put them on, it's basically like compression sleeve that's made out of gel all the way around, and so you can ice different body parts with it. So that's kind of one of our new products that we've been selling lately. It's pretty good.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's super cool. Well, hey, I'll let you finish out the rest of your day. Appreciate you spending some time, and
absolutely.
We're going to kind of do a write-up on it, and then get a blog posted and do some tagging and some things and get it on LinkedIn and wherever else. So it'll be cool. So
let me know when you get it posted, and we'll share the love as well.
Sweet. Perfect.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep. See you, man.
Have a good one.
You too.